He didn't resist. Even as two officers pushed him against the cold marble wall of the courthouse lobby, the old man didn't flinch. His shoulders stayed square. His jaw stayed locked. Only his hands, trembling slightly from age, gave away any sign of weakness as the steel cuffs snapped shut around his wrists. People watched, but no one spoke. A mother pulled her child closer. A security guard shifted uneasily. One of the clerks looked away. The silence didn't mean consent, but it didn't stop it either, and still, he said nothing. The man was wearing his full dress uniform. Navy blue, pressed sharp. Every button gleamed, every ribbon placed with care. On his chest, rows of honors, some faded, some new. And above all of them, the Medal of Honor. Not a replica. The real one. Pinned to his heart like a silent badge. Of battles no one in that lobby could imagine. But to the officers, it meant nothing. Impersonating military personnel is a federal crime, one of them said, loud enough for the crowd to hear. The old man remained still. That he didn't argue. He didn't beg. He simply looked at the marble floor, as if trying to remember something lost long ago. Only minutes earlier, he'd been trying to enter the courtroom to testify as a character witness for a young Marine accused of a crime. The judge had refused to delay. The officers had refused to believe. And the scanner had beeped over the pins on his chest. Back off, old man. That's what the taller one said. N01 noticed the silver chain around his neck, holding a locket with the photo of a boy. 19. Smiling. Gone for 20 years. His son. And today, he was here because that young Marine had once saved that boy's best friend. He owed him this. But now, he was being dragged toward the holding room. And then, the doors opened. Every head turned. In stepped a tall man in a deep green uniform, chest full of ribbons. Starched, crisp, commanding. 4 stars. No one needed a nameplate to recognize him. General Marcus Ellington. The room froze. That he didn't shout. He didn't run. He simply walked forward, each step echoing with quiet, controlled fury. The officers tried to speak. He raised a single hand. They stopped. He walked straight to the old man and saluted. Not a casual nod. Not a polite gesture. A full, formal salute. Held. Long, unshaken. Sir, the general said, voice steady. It's been an honor waiting for you. Gasps rippled through the lobby. One of the clerks began to cry. The cuffs came off. The old man didn't speak. He simply nodded, eyes wet, lips pressed tight. The general turned to the officers. You just handcuffed a man who once held the line alone at Firebase Echo while wounded. The man who dragged 4 of our soldiers out of burning wreckage. He doesn't talk about it, because that's not who he is. But if you ever wore the uniform, you'd recognize that silence. No one moved. The tall officer who had led the arrest looked down. We thought, you didn't think. The general cut him off quietly. And that's the difference between wearing power and understanding honor. The old man adjusted his sleeves. His hands still shook, but this time, it was from emotion, not aged. A quiet quote later echoed online, repeated by thousands. True heroes never ask for recognition, but shame belongs to those who fail to recognize them. And another, shared under the post by a young Marine. He spoke no words, but in his silence, the whole room stood at attention. That day, the judge postponed the trial. The young Marine got his character witness, but the courtroom was different now. People stood when the old man entered, some with hands over their hearts, others in silent tears. Outside, the flag moved slowly in the wind, as if bowing in apology. In a world that often forgets its quiet heroes, let this story remind us. Respect isn't about rank. It's about sacrifice. Tell us where you're watching from. Share your thoughts in the comments. And subscribe for more stories that honor the dignity of those who never ask for thanks, but deserve it the most.